She laughed at my need for connection. So I walked away without a fight. Full speech. I never thought that asking for something so simple could make me feel so small. All I wanted was connection, not attention, not control, not constant reassurance, just connection, the kind where silence feels comfortable, where conversations don't feel forced, where you don't have to explain why something matters, because the other person just understands. But somewhere along the way, I became too much, too emotional, too deep, too serious. And the strange part is, I didn't change. I was always this way. The only difference was, in the beginning, she liked it. She said it made me different. She said it made me real. But over time, that same depth became a problem. She was the kind of person who loved being around people. Always surrounded by friends, always laughing, always busy, and I admired that. I really did. But I didn't need a crowd to feel complete. I just needed one person who truly saw me. And I thought that person was her. But I was wrong. Because slowly, without even realizing it, Abby started to feel like an outsider in her world. We would go out with her friends, and I would sit there trying to belong, trying to understand their jokes, trying to match their energy, trying to fit into conversations that were never meant for me. And every time, I felt a little more invisible, not because they were bad people, but because I wasn't part of their world. And she never noticed, or maybe she did, but she didn't think it mattered. One night, I finally said something, not in anger, not in frustration, just honestly. I said, "Can we spend more time together, just us?" It was such a simple request, but her reaction wasn't. She looked at me, and then she laughed, not loudly, not cruelly, but enough to make me feel like what I said was ridiculous. "Why?" she asked. "You're so quiet around my friends. It's awkward, awkward." That word stayed with me. Because I wasn't asking to be louder. I wasn't asking to change who I was. I was just asking to feel like I mattered. I told her, "I just miss us." But she didn't understand. Or maybe she didn't want to. She rolled her eyes and said, "Not everything has to be so deep all the time." And in that moment, something inside me went quiet. Because to me, this wasn't deep. This was basic. This was real. This was what relationships are built on. But to her, it was just unnecessary. And that's when the distance really began. Not physically, but emotionally. Because when you stop feeling understood, you start feeling alone even when someone is right next to you. After that, things didn't get better. They got easier for her and harder for me. She stopped inviting me out as much, saying things like, "You wouldn't enjoy it anyway," or "You're better off staying home." At first, I believed her. I thought she was being considerate. But eventually, I saw the truth. She wasn't protecting me. She was excluding me. And the worst part? She made it sound normal, like I was the one who didn't fit. So it made sense to leave me out. One night, I saw a picture she posted. Her and her friends, laughing, smiling, alive, and I wasn't there. I stared at that photo for a long time, not because I was jealous, but because I realized something painful. My absence didn't change anything for her. And that hurts more than rejection, because rejection means you were considered. But being ignored means you were never really part of the picture to begin with. That night, I spoke again. I said, "I feel like I'm not part of your life anymore." And she sighed, annoyed, tired, like this conversation was a burden. Why do you always make things complicated? She said. It's not a big deal. Not a big deal. That's when I understood something. What feels heavy to you might feel meaningless to someone else. And that doesn't make you wrong. It just means you're not aligned. But she didn't stop there. She started mocking it. Not aggressively, not openly, but in a way that cuts deeper. Oh, you want emotional bonding time again? She said with a smirk. Should I cancel my plans so we can sit and talk about feelings? And people laughed. In that moment, Abby didn't feel hurt. I felt clear. Because there's a difference. Hurt makes you react. Clarity makes you decide. And right there, in that quiet second, A made a decision. Not out of anger, not out of ego, but out of self-respect. I looked at her and said, calmly, don't worry. I'll never ask again. She didn't take it seriously. She thought it was just another emotional response, but it wasn't. It was the last time I would ask someone to see me. After that, AB changed, not in a loud way, not in a dramatic way, but in a quiet, powerful way. I stopped asking, stopped explaining, stopped trying to fit into spaces that never felt like home. And something unexpected happened. AB found peace. I started spending time with myself again, thinking, reflecting, rebuilding, remembering who I was. Before I started shrinking myself to be accepted. And the more I did that, the less I needed her validation. Weeks passed, and then one day she asked, why have you been so distant lately? And for a second, Abby almost smiled, because the truth was, Abby wasn't distant. I was just no longer chasing someone who never turned around. I'm not distant, I said. I'm just not forcing anything anymore. And that confused her, because she was used to me trying, used to me explaining, used to me staying, no matter what. But I wasn't that person anymore. Because once you realize your worth, you stop negotiating it. A few days later, she tried to fix things. She said, let's spend time together. But it felt different now. Not natural, not real, more like a reaction, like she noticed the silence. But not the reason behind it. And that's when I understood something deeply important. You shouldn't have to beg someone to value your presence. So I made the final choice, quietly, respectfully, but firmly. I think we want different things, I told her. She looked surprised, confused. Over something so small, she asked. And I shook my head, because it was never small. It was never small to me. And that was it. No fight, no shouting, no dramatic ending. Just a quiet goodbye that had been building for a long time. Because sometimes people don't lose you in one big moment. They lose you slowly. In the times they laugh when you're being serious. In the moments they ignore what matters to you. In the way they make you feel like your needs are too much. And one day, you stop asking, you stop explaining, you stop waiting, and you walk away, not because you don't care, but because you finally care about yourself.